Morning did not arrive. It bled in. A gray wash seeped through the blinds, turning the room into a dull aquarium of rain and dust. Somewhere a pipe ticked in the wall. The refrigerator hummed its thin domestic note, and beneath everything, the city breathed. A long, low sound like a giant sleeping with one eye open. Anna lay on the couch with her shoes still on, jacket bunched beneath her shoulders, papers under her cheek like dead leaves. She didn't remember lying down, only falling, only the white weight of the word guilty blinking on every screen like a lighthouse with no shore. She sat up. The room tilted then steadied. Cups on the coffee table. 3, maybe 4. A spoon balanced on the edge of a saucer, perfect as a metronome. Her phone lay face down beside it, as if ashamed. She flipped it over. The lock screen was the same storm headlines, rippling thumbnails frozen mid-flash, her own eyes wide like windows the wind forgot to close. A notification trembled into view. Then another. Then a swarm. Mentions, tags, messages that weren't messages at all, verdicts posing as concern. She muted everything. The silence that followed wasn't silence. It was a pressure. It pressed against her throat, as if to test how much breath she could spare. On the kitchen counter, the radio's red dot glowed. She didn't remember turning it on. The volume hovered a breath above inaudible, the kind of hush you only hear when you lean into fear. She turned the dial with 2 fingers, as if it might bite. And in last night's viral broadcast, the host said, voice smooth as a polished table, the public voted overwhelmingly. Over 1 million live viewers. An unprecedented verdict. Many are calling it the cafe trial. A second voice, a woman warm and grave at once. You can't argue with that kind of engagement. People are tired of secrets. They want consequence. The host chuckled softly. They also want a new episode, and it seems they'll get it. Paper rasped under Anna's palm. She looked down. The subpoena. Again. The ink had not faded overnight. Adrian's signature still stroked across the bottom with the same indifferent grace she remembered from a boardroom photo, immaculate, detached final. Her mouth tasted like cold metal. The storm outside shifted, a handful of rain thrown harder against glass. Reflections blinked across the window, her own small shape, the low bookshelf, the lamp with its tilted shade. And behind all that, the city's pulse distant sirens braided into the gray. Her throat tightened. She turned away from the window and toward the sink. Water. A glass. Sip. Another. She watched the way the surface trembled after each swallow, the way ripples moved toward the rim and broke into nothing. For a second, she imagined she could pour her heartbeat into the glass and drink it calm. The radio went brighter. We're joined now, the host announced, by an investigative journalist who released exclusive audio earlier this week. You've been following the Anna Rivers case since the first rumors. A new male voice came on silk wrapped around a wire. We should call it what it is. Not a case. A confession we've been patient enough to wait for. Anna turned the dial down until the words became a loose thread of sound. The voice still crawled under the door of the room. Some words do that. Even when you close everything, they creep in through the fit of your bones. She walked to the bathroom. The light flickered once before consenting. A mirror she hadn't asked to see offered her a face that looked like a night that hadn't ended. Hair knotted, skin the color of old paper, eyes ringing blue like they'd been struck. She pressed both hands to the sink and let her head hang. Breathe, count the breath, anchor it to something that does not lie. 1. The tap's steady drip. 2. The slow march of the hall clock. 3. The rain. Always the rain. Her phone vibrated in the other room. Not buzzed, vibrated a sound with muscle behind it, as if someone were knocking from inside the case. She left the bathroom and didn't hurry, which is its own kind of hurry. Unknown number. She didn't answer. The call stopped. Began again. Stopped. Began a third time with patience, the kind that knows exactly how long you can refuse before you can't. She tapped accept and said nothing. A street's worth of static, then a voice that sounded too much like hers to be a stranger. Anna, it said. The air left the room. She knew that trick. She'd heard it at the cafe. Her own syllables cut up and sewn into a dress that didn't fit a dress she was still forced to wear. I'm not your echo, she said quiet. Try harder. The line shifted, a small delay. When the voice returned, it was rasping, still hers, but run over stone. You will not win, it said. You will not even be allowed to lose in private. The call clicked off. The apartment widened around her like a throat. She put the phone down exactly where it had been, before edge aligned to the table's seam, as if precision could contain anything. Wind flattened rain against the window. The radio cleared its throat again. Market analysts speculate that Adrian Blackwood's firm will rally on news of his cooperation, the host said. A difficult personal moment perhaps, but a savvy one professionally. A second voicemail, amused silence can be a statement. In this case, a profitable one. Adrian. The syllables moved through her like a hand through water. She saw him as he had stood the night before, black suit posture, like a verdict that practiced empathy till it looked convincing. She had searched his face for a seam where truth might leak out. She had found only polish. Something out in the hall, a shoe or a camera case bumping the baseboard. Then the small, hungry chirp of a lens focusing. She moved to the window and parted the blind with 2 fingers. Down on the street, a van idled with hazard lights yawning. A cluster of umbrellas faced up like flowers that had forgotten the sun. 2 men stood under the balcony. One held a camera close to his chest, the way a parent holds a sleeping child. The other checked his phone scroll stop, and then lifted it to catch the curve of her window. A third flash came from across the street, where a window had been rented by the hour. The flash wasn't bright. It didn't need to be. What mattered was the act. She let the blind fall. The doorbell rang once, polite, then again, too fast to be courtesy. She didn't move. On the third ring, a voice slid through the wood neutral official, the color of gray. Ms. Rivers, it's building security. We need a moment. The words arranged themselves like furniture you can't walk around. She looked at the latch, the chain, the peephole, a little circle of glass where the world becomes a fish. She did not open the door. She pressed her eye to the circle. The hallway shivered into a round frame. 2 figures, uniforms without insignia, clipboard, polite faces that had learned how to hold no expression at all. Beyond them, at the far end of the hall, a woman in a raincoat looked down at the floor, then up at the ceiling, then, though the distance made it absurd, directly at the peephole. Burgundy. No dress this time, coat zipped, hood down. The color lived at her mouth, instead a red that read as promise and threat. Ms. Rivers, the nearer man, asked. Cameras have gathered outside. We recommend you use the service elevator if you need to leave. Also, we've had complaints about radio noise. Radio noise. She almost laughed. The building had grown ears. Thank you, she said through the door. Polite. Nothing more. We'll wait here, he replied, in case you need an escort. We'll wait. The 3 simplest bars in a cage. The peephole bent the woman's face into a fish. It made her eyes large and calm. She lifted one hand, just the first inch of it, palm facing the door. Not a knock. A rehearsal for a knock. Then she lowered it and walked away, her steps soundless, the coat's dark sway trailing something like a scent. Anna backed from the door. The radio decided to be useful. We've also obtained a leaked email, the host said, bright with something that wasn't quite joy. Subject line, the deal with Adrian Blackwood. We cannot verify its authenticity. A second voice rushed in to complete the sentence, but we'll read it anyway. A paper sound, a breath. We proceed as discussed. Signature ensures compliance. Silence ensures outcome. Silence ensures outcome. She switched the radio off with her whole hand. The red dot died. The apartment gave up the ghost of the voice in its corners. For 30 seconds, maybe a minute, there was only the wet sound of a city performing weather. She carried the subpoena to the desk beneath the window and tried to put it down as if it were just paper. Date, time, location, instructions on how to arrive as if voluntarily. On the corner of the page, something she hadn't noticed last night. A faint gray rectangle where the document had been copied badly, a shadow of a thumb. Not Adrian's, too small. Someone else. Someone who had been close to the machine that turned law into letters. She traced it with her finger until the skin warmed the paper. Her phone vibrated. She didn't look. Then it chimed, different tone. A message from the building app, emergency exit temporarily offline for maintenance. She laughed then, just a small cracked sound that went nowhere. Maintenance. The word had followed her home like a stray. She packed a bag without deciding to. Not much. A sweater, a small notebook she'd carried for years because paper is a kind of stubbornness. Toothbrush. Charger. The old badge for Velour Cafe with her name rubbed almost smooth. She paused with the badge in her hand. The plastic still smelled faintly of espresso and lemon cleaner of shift beginnings and endings. She tucked it into the side pocket like a talisman or an error. The doorbell rang again. Through the peephole, the same two uniforms, the same clipboard. Their politeness held. At the far end of the hall, the woman had returned. No coat now. The burgundy lived in the line of her scarf and the mouth that did not curve. Ms. Rivers, the closer uniform said, someone downstairs says they have a package for you. It requires a signature. The word had weight. It lit up the page on the desk behind her like a flare. This is a stage, she thought. Last night was a stage. The cafe, the cameras, the spotlight, the dark. Morning was a stage too, just quieter, just better at pretending not to be. She unchained the door, opened it one cautious width. "I'm not accepting deliveries," she said. "Understood," the man said, pleasant. "We can leave it at the desk." "Please don't." A pause brief enough to be a cut in a film. Then, "We'll note your refusal." His partner smiled with his mouth, not his eyes, and made a small check mark on the clipboard as if checking boxes could change reality. From the elevator shaft, a bell chimed. Doors sighed. Footsteps. Heavy ordered. "Ms. Rivers," the partner said, tone adjusting to something more official. "We've also been informed that your presence is requested." "By who?" He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Two more figures had arrived at the end of the hall, shoes whispering over carpet. Not uniforms. Suits that tried not to be expensive and failed. Between them, a woman whose face the peephole had starved grew into its full, precise calm. Burgundy. Up close, her eyes were the color of late afternoon. Not forgiving, not cruel, certain. "Good morning, Anna," she said. Anna did not step back. She placed her palm against the door, felt the apartment at her spine, the hall at her mouth. "You found me," Anna said. Her voice surprised her. It was not small. The woman tilted her head. "You were never lost." Footsteps behind the burgundy woman multiplied the sound of the phones that pretend to be hands. Their lenses surfaced like fish at feeding time. "I won't be filmed," Anna said. "You already are," the woman replied, as if remarking on weather. "It's a hallway. It's a building. It's a city that adores reflection." A flash slid down the walls like a drop of mercury. Anna breathed once, twice. The bag strap lay warm against her palm. The subpoena lay bright on the desk behind her like a white flag nobody had agreed to wave. "What do you want?" Anna asked. "To walk," the woman said gently. "Down, not up. Side door, not front. 10 minutes, no more. You can speak or not. The choice is ornamental." "Ornamental," Anna repeated, and something almost like a smile moved through her chest and burned out. The woman's gaze flicked to the angle above the doorframe, then back. "Do you hear them?" she asked. The little red eyes. Anna glanced at the corner. A dot lived there, one of the new kind. Warm, smart, careful. It bathed the hallway in a soft approval. "It's morning," the woman said. "People are generous in the morning. They forgive hands that shake more than they forgive voices that don't." She stepped back one pace, granting space that wasn't space at all. "Shall we?" From the street came a new sound. Not sirens. A crowd noise tuned low like waves chewing politely at sand. It carried a tang of curiosity and rust. The radio dead on the counter still found a way to speak in her head. Silence ensures outcome. Anna closed her eyes. She pictured the cafe, the bell over the door stuttering, the steam that softened everything except the lenses, the half second before a face corrects itself, the small human mess of a milk leaf pulled too long. When she opened her eyes, the hall had not changed. The woman waited. The men studied neutrality like a second language. The dot in the corner glowed. 10 minutes, Anna said. 10, the woman agreed. Anna slid the chain back, opened the door wide. The air in the hall smelled like rain wearing cologne. As she stepped across the threshold, the flash from below leapt through the stairwell and found her face. Outside, a chorus of shutters gathered into a single command click, and the first question landed before the elevator doors had time to close. Morning spread its news the way fire spreads across dry grass, fast, merciless, leaving nothing untouched. Anna hadn't even reached the bottom of the service stairs when the city had already declared the story of the day. Adrian Blackwood. His name pulsed from every screen, every newsstand, every phone angled toward the rain. His face photographed in sharp suits at ribbon cuttings on yachts that never tilted became the wallpaper of the morning. Billionaire CEO breaks silence read one headline, but of course Adrian hadn't spoken at all. The silence itself was the story. Anna slid through the side door with the burgundy woman a few paces behind. The storm mist hung thick, turning breath into fog. The street was already crowded. Reporters huddled beneath plastic cameras, perched like hawks on rooftops, interns with umbrellas shielding microphones as though protecting relics. Anna, did Adrian betray you? Is it true he signed the deal against you? Are you hiding more evidence? The question struck like hail, cold and stinging. She kept her head low bag strap gripped tight, the hood of her coat dragging rain across her face. The burgundy woman did not answer, did not wave them away. She let the voices do their work, let them record every flinch. "Don't look up," the woman murmured. "The frame is already waiting." Anna didn't. She kept her eyes on the ground where rain turned gutters into rivers. But she couldn't stop her ears. The air carried Adrian's name everywhere, every corner, every question, every live stream. Across the boulevard, a news ticker bled crimson letters. "Blackwood cooperates with investigators." Another screen above a cafe doorway flashed grainy footage from last night. Adrian standing silent in Velour Cafe, the red glow of phones around him. Beneath the image, the caption, "Silence that speaks." Anna's stomach turned. She wanted to scream that his silence had not been consent, that it had not been betrayal, that it was something more complicated, a language she hadn't cracked, but the world had already translated it for her. The burgundy woman ushered her toward a waiting car. The door opened with a muted click. Anna slipped inside. The car smelled of leather and rain-soaked wool. Screens glowed from the dash, muted but alive. She caught the crawl of a headline before the driver tapped at dark markets react positively to Blackwood move. Adrian's cooperation wasn't just a story. It was profit. Her hands shook against her lap. She pressed them into fists until the knuckles whitened. The woman in burgundy studied her with the calm patience of someone who had rehearsed this 100 times. "They've chosen their hero," she said. "Now they need their villain." Anna turned to her. "And you're helping them do it." The woman didn't flinch. "I'm helping you survive it. There's a difference." The car threaded through the city tires, hissing over wet asphalt. Every intersection carried another broadcast. Giant LED billboards flickered with Adrian's face beside hers. The contrast was surgical, his calm, poised silence, her blurred, frantic fear. A slogan scrolled beneath one CEO. One decision, one truth. Her pulse hammered. She reached for the door handle, a reflex to flee. The burgundy woman caught her wrist with 2 fingers light, but final. "You walk into that storm and they'll tear you apart frame by frame," she said softly. "Stay in here and at least the rain won't ruin your composure." Anna yanked her hand free but didn't move again. At the next red light, a vendor pushed past the car, shoving papers against the window. Anna couldn't help but look. The headline screamed, "Blackwood Deal, the paper trail." Beneath it, in smaller print, leaked email confirms agreement. Her chest tightened. The vendor's hand slapped the glass, leaving a wet palm print. The paper sagged against the window, long enough for her to see the quoted line beneath Adrian's name. "Signature ensures compliance. Silence ensures outcome." Her breath broke. That phrase, she had heard it, not just read it, heard it on the radio last night, creeping like smoke through the static. The words followed her, attaching themselves like parasites. The burgundy woman spoke without turning her head. "Do not waste your energy denying what they've already decided. Your fight is not with them. It's with yourself." Anna stared at her. "What does that mean?" The woman's eyes flicked to the side mirror, then back. Rain slid down the glass like melted silver. "You'll see." The car pulled into an underground garage. Cameras clicked above the ramp, their lenses glowing faint red even in the storm. Anna ducked her head. When the engine stopped, the driver opened her door. She stepped out into the echoing concrete, the air damp with oil and rain. A monitor flickered on the wall. She froze. Adrian's face filled the screen broadcast live. He stood at a podium, cameras flashing in his own storm. The headline below him read, "Blackwood addresses the nation." Anna's breath caught. His voice carried through the speakers in the garage, low measured, precise. "I have always believed in transparency. My cooperation with investigators is not betrayal. It is responsibility. We must all face the consequences of what has been hidden." The garage seemed to lean closer. Anna pressed her hand against the cold concrete wall to steady herself. Adrian continued, "This is not about vengeance. It is about truth. And truth cannot be silenced." The crowd on his side erupted in applause, camera flashes like lightning. Anna's heart twisted. His words were sharp polished, designed to soothe shareholders and sharpen knives. The burgundy woman watched the screen without emotion. "Do you hear it?" she asked. "He hasn't condemned you. He hasn't defended you. He's done something worse. He's left the world to choose." Anna shook her head, tears pricking her eyes. "He knows the truth. He knows this is all false." The woman's gaze remained steady. Knowing is irrelevant. Framing is everything. The broadcast zoomed in on Adrian's face. Calm, untouchable. He paused as if the weight of his next words required silence first. Silence, he said, is sometimes the only language the world understands. Anna's knees weakened. She slid down the wall until she sat on the cold concrete, head-bowed hair damp against her cheeks. Above her, the monitor glowed, Adrian's eyes staring through the lens, through the crowd, through the storm, staring straight at her. And, in that moment, she couldn't tell if it was condemnation or warning. The broadcast cut abruptly to a leaked document splashed across the screen, an email with her name in the subject line. The broadcast didn't fade to commercials. It cut abrupt surgical. Adrian's face dissolved into static. Then the screen cleared. Not news anchors, not officials. The journalist. The same man who had cornered her at Velour Cafe lapel mic, glowing like a tiny red wound. Now he sat in a studio backlit by cold blue light, a wall of screens flickering behind him like restless ghosts. His smile carried no warmth. It was the smile of someone who had already sharpened his knife and now waited to use it. "Good evening," he began. Though it was still morning, his voice had no time zones. "We've all seen the verdict, but what we have tonight is more than public opinion. We have proof." The word cracked the air like glass. He pressed a button on his desk. One of the screens behind him flared alive. Grainy footage filled the frame. Velour Cafe, the back hallway. Anna again. Her stomach lurched. She knew the angle. She knew the splice. The studio camera zoomed on his face as he leaned closer. Some will call this coincidence. Some will call it fabrication. But when you hear it with your own ears... He pressed another button. Anna's voice slid out, clean, crisp, undeniable. "They can't know what we've hidden." The crowd in the cafe, garage, security staff, assistants, even the burgundy woman's driver, turned to look at Anna as though she'd spoken it just now. Her pulse stuttered. She pressed both hands against her chest, shaking her head. "That isn't me. That isn't real." But the broadcast drowned her out. The journalist chuckled softly. "And it doesn't stop there." Another clip. Another splice. Her face and profile lips forming words she never remembered saying. Adrian said it's too late to stop. The studio audience manufactured or real gasped on cue. Anna's knees weakened. She slid down the wall until she sat on the cold floor of the garage, staring up at the monitor as though it might consume her. The journalist pressed his palms together, mock prayerful. When a billionaire's silence meets a waitress's secrets, the story writes itself. Her throat locked. "No," she whispered. But the journalist wasn't speaking to her. He was speaking to the millions watching. And every pause in his voice was perfectly timed, every inflection calibrated. He leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Let's ask the public again. Do you believe her?" On screen a poll appeared. 2 options. Yes or no. Within seconds, numbers rolled in. No surged ahead. 80%. 90. 95. The journalist smiled wider. There it is. Truth by democracy. Justice by transparency. The burgundy woman watched silently, arms crossed. Her expression didn't change, but Anna felt the weight of her gaze. Anna's body trembled. Her memories swirled, betraying her. Each denial she had spoken felt hollow when played back against fabricated evidence. She tried to remember her real words from yesterday, but they blurred. The journalist pressed another button. A new video filled the screen. Her bedroom. Anna's breath hitched. No. The image was clear, invasive, impossible. She sat at her desk, hair loose, head bent. The audio was faint, distorted, but chilling. No one can ever know what we've done. Her hands shook. She wanted to smash the screen to claw her way out of this digital coffin. The journalist tilted his head. Is this guilt or paranoia? Either way, it's exposure. The word exposure echoed. Exposure. Exposure. As if repeated enough times, it could rewrite memory, reshape truth, turn denial into confession. The poll results ticked upward. 97%, 98. The journalist clasped his hands. The public has spoken. Again. And again. Silence can no longer protect her. Nor him. Anna's eyes shot to Adrian on the monitor, but his image was gone, replaced now by text from a leaked email. Subject: the deal with Adrian Blackwood. The journalist read aloud. "We proceed as discussed. Signature ensures compliance. Silence ensures outcome." Anna's stomach twisted. The words wrapped around her like chains. She heard them everywhere now. Radio headlines, monitors, even the Burgundy woman's calm whisper last night. The journalist leaned close to the camera. His eyes glinted. "And so, ladies and gentlemen, the story is no longer about guilt. It's about survival. How long can she last before she confesses what we all already know?" The studio lights dimmed. The screen froze on Anna's face, eyes wide, lips trembling, a portrait of collapse. The broadcast cut. The garage echoed with silence. Anna pressed her fists to her temples, rocking slightly on the concrete floor. "They've rewritten me," she whispered. "They've stolen even my memory." The Burgundy woman crouched, meeting her at eye level. Her voice was soft but heavy. "Memory is fragile. Proof is eternal." Anna shook her head violently. "No. Proof can be faked. They're faking everything." The woman tilted her head. "Does it matter? Ask them." She gestured upward toward the cameras lining the garage ceiling. "The world already believes. That is the only truth left." Anna's breath came in short, ragged bursts. She wanted to scream, to claw her way out of the narrative being forced on her, but the words jammed in her throat. Her phone vibrated. She pulled it out with trembling hands. A notification filled the screen. "Exclusive full confession video premieres tonight." Her pulse stopped. Confession video. She had never confessed, but the world had already written the ending for her. The garage monitor flickered one last time, showing her own face staring into the lens, calm, steady, saying words she had never spoken. "I confess." The broadcast cut to black. Silence washed over the garage like cold water. Anna sat slumped against the concrete wall, palms pressed, flat eyes stung red. The words still echoed in her skull. Confession video. Tonight. It was a death sentence written in pixels. The Burgundy woman straightened slowly, adjusting her scarf. No rush, no surprise. Her presence filled the garage like gravity. "They don't need you to speak anymore," she said. "They've built the voice for you. A voice that never stumbles, never doubts, never resists. A perfect Anna crafted to confess." Anna's chest tightened. "Why are you telling me this? You should be stopping it." The woman's lips curved, not a smile, but something between amusement and pity. "Stopping? My dear, I am amplifying." 2 hours later, the storm outside had thinned into a mist, but the air still smelled of rain and static. Anna's phone buzzed again, this time not a headline, a live stream notification. She swiped it open against her better judgment. The feed opened to a studio stage bathed in soft light, plush chairs, polished glass table, an audience seated in neat rows, faces blurred by studio glow. The title graphic pulsed across the bottom, "Truth Unveiled, an Exclusive Conversation." Anna's stomach twisted. She recognized the set, the primetime talk show that owned the nation's evenings. And there she was, the Burgundy woman. Aye. She sat poised in the studio's warm light, the burgundy dress flowing like liquid shadow. No name tag, no title card, just anonymous witness. The host leaned forward, his expression perfectly calibrated concern with a hint of fascination. "You told our producers you have information about Anna Rivers." The woman nodded once. Her hands rested gently in her lap. Her voice came smooth, practiced. "Information, yes, but more than that, experience." The audience hushed. Phones lifted even inside the studio, capturing the broadcast in miniature. Anna watched from this dim garage, her fists clenching tighter with every word. The woman continued, "I was there when it began. I saw what she hid. I saw how Adrian was forced into silence. He didn't betray her. He protected himself, as anyone would." The host's eyebrows arched, the performance of surprise. "Are you saying Anna manipulated him?" The woman tilted her head just enough to suggest reluctance. "Manipulation is a soft word. Let's call it what it was, deception." Gasps rippled through the audience. The feed's comments exploded. "She tricked Adrian. Poor man forced to betray her. Now it makes sense." Anna's nails dug crescents into her palms. "Lies," she whispered. The Burgundy woman's voice rose again, each syllable a scalpel. She crafted a mask. Sweetness, humility, innocence. But behind it, calculation. Every act rehearsed. Every word sharpened. She was always preparing for the day she would be caught. The host leaned closer. "Do you fear speaking out?" A pause perfectly measured. Then fear, of course. She is capable of much more than the world has yet seen. but the truth deserves risk. The audience erupted in applause. Anna shut the phone with trembling fingers. The sound of clapping still echoed even with the feed cut. She stood pacing the garage. Her reflection rippled in the puddles left by leaking pipes. Her breath fogged in the damp air. "They'll believe her," Anna muttered. "They'll believe every word." The burgundy woman's voice came from behind her, though she hadn't moved from the shadows. "They already do." Anna spun. "You're not just watching me. You're orchestrating all of this." The woman stepped closer, the burgundy fabric catching the dim light, glowing faintly like blood under glass. "I'm not orchestrating," she said softly. "I'm conducting." The orchestra was already here, media law, public hunger. All I did was lift the baton. Anna's breath quickened. "Why me? Why this?" The woman's eyes glimmered. "Because you resist. And nothing excites the crowd more than resistance. They don't cheer for guilt. They cheer for the moment guilt is broken from denial." Anna shook her head violently. "I'm not guilty." The woman's expression didn't change. "You think that matters?" The garage lights flickered. A door groaned open at the far end. More figures entered, producers, technicians, maybe agents. Each carried equipment, tripods, cables, boxes that hummed faintly. Anna stepped back. "What is this?" The burgundy woman didn't answer. She only watched as the newcomers set up in efficient silence. Within minutes, cameras were aligned, lights adjusted, microphones lowered. Anna's throat went dry. They were turning the garage into a stage. A voice barked from behind the lights. "Ready in 3 minutes." Anna's pulse spiked. She stumbled toward the burgundy woman. "You can't do this. You can't keep building stages out of my life." The woman leaned closer, her perfume faint but heavy. "My dear, the stage isn't built out of your life. It is your life." Anna staggered back. The technicians finished their setup. A red light blinked to life on the nearest camera. The hum of machinery swelled. The burgundy woman turned to Anna, her eyes calm, final. "Tonight the world doesn't wait for a confession. Tonight the world receives one." Anna's lips parted. "From me," the woman tilted her head, "from the version of you they've created. But if you resist hard enough," she smiled faintly, "perhaps they'll capture something even better. The real collapse." A producer's voice rang out, "Going live in 10, 9. Anna's heart thundered. Her hands shook. The cameras loomed like predators, their red lights blinking in unison. 8, 7. She backed toward the far wall, desperate for escape. The door behind her was locked. The storm outside had faded, but in here the tempest was just beginning. 6, 5. The burgundy woman raised a single hand, signaling silence. The crew hushed instantly. 4, 3. Anna pressed herself against the wall, chest heaving, eyes wild. 2. The red lights burned brighter. 1. The monitors across the city lit up at once, broadcasting Anna's face from the garage live to millions before she had spoken a single word. The garage had become a cage of red lights. Each camera blinked with mechanical patience, hungry, unblinking. Anna stood against the wall, chest heaving, the taste of metal in her mouth. And then silence broke. Not her voice, not the burgundy woman's. A man's voice. Official, flat as paper, sharp as law. "Anna Rivers," he said. From the far end of the garage, footsteps echoed. A figure emerged from the stairwell, gray suit, silver tie briefcase, clutched like a weapon. He walked with the certainty of someone whose words would be transcribed into records, stamped into permanence. The cameras pivoted, tracking him as naturally as predators following prey. He stopped in front of Anna. The briefcase clicked open. The smell of ink and new paper spilled into the damp air. "By order of the court," he said, sliding a stack of documents across a folding table, "you are hereby served with expanded charges." Anna stared at the pages. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. The man spread the papers like a dealer laying cards. Each page bore stamps, seals, signatures. Words leapt from the print: conspiracy, collusion, obstruction. Her breath caught. The words blurred, swimming together. The cameras leaned closer, microphones lowered, hungry for her first reaction. She forced her voice out, brittle. "This is fabricated." The man in gray didn't flinch. "These documents are signed, reviewed, accepted. The cooperation of Mr. Adrian Blackwood ensures their legitimacy." Adrian's name fell like iron into the room. Anna's knees weakened. She grasped the table for balance, eyes darting across the pages. At the bottom of each document, she saw the same elegant signature, Adrian's. His name tied her fate into ink and seal. "No," she whispered. The burgundy woman stepped closer, her dress rustling softly, her expression unreadable. You see, his silence wasn't absence. It was strategy. A signature is louder than any word. Anna's chest burned. He wouldn't. But the proof lay flat in front of her, documented, notarized, captured by every lens in the garage. The man in gray lifted one page, tapping the line that confirmed her involvement. This is no longer rumor, Ms. Rivers. This is escalation. Financial concealment. Coordinated fraud. With Adrian Blackwood named as cooperating witness. The room tilted. Her hands slipped from the table, landing against her knees. She felt the cold concrete through thin fabric. The journalist's voice returned not in person but through a speaker, his smooth tone echoing into the garage. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The law itself has arrived. Not just speculation, not just whispers, legal confirmation of guilt. Anna shook her head violently. No, this isn't the truth. This is a performance. The cameras blinked. The microphone swayed. Every denial was recorded, ready to be twisted. The burgundy woman crouched beside her, eyes calm. Truth is theater, Anna. Law is its script. Outside, thunder rolled faint but certain. The storm hadn't left. It had only taken a breath. Anna forced herself upright. She grabbed one of the papers, clutching it to her chest. This doesn't prove anything. The man in gray adjusted his tie. It proves enough. A judge has signed it. The world has already agreed. He snapped his briefcase shut, the sound final. You are expected to appear in court within 7 days. Failure to comply will result in immediate detention. Anna's fingers shook. The paper crumpled under her grip. She wanted to tear it apart, to scatter the pieces like feathers. But the cameras were watching. Every shred would be spun into guilt. She lowered the page slowly, trembling, tears pressing hot behind her eyes. The burgundy woman's hand rested lightly on the table. You see now, she murmured, almost tender. It was never about confession. It was about confirmation. And Adrian has given them exactly that. Anna's breath hitched. She looked around the garage. Faces blurred behind lenses, red lights glowing, law pressed into her palm. There was no air left, only judgment. Suddenly, one of the monitors above flickered. A photo appeared. Anna froze. It was her and Adrian, together, at Velour Cafe. She was smiling faintly, unaware of the camera. He leaned close, head tilted just enough to suggest intimacy. The caption beneath, evidence of collaboration. Gasps rippled through the crew. The image spread across every phone, every feed duplicated like wildfire. Anna staggered back. That's not what that was. The burgundy woman's lips curved faintly. Context is a canvas, Anna. They will paint what they want. Her voice lowered. And now they've painted you guilty together. Anna clutched her head, trembling. The paper slipped from her fingers, floating down into a shallow puddle. Ink bled, but not enough to erase. Never enough to erase. The journalist's voice over the speaker sealed it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen it all. Documents, signatures, photographs. The case is clear. The only question left, how long until Anna admits what she's already written in her silence? Anna dropped to her knees, hands braced against cold concrete. Tears slid hot across her face. The cameras zoomed closer, capturing every fracture. The burgundy woman leaned down, her voice barely above a whisper. Break now, and they own you forever. Hold, and they will break you louder. Either way, exposure is inevitable. Anna lifted her head, eyes burning. Why are you doing this to me? The woman's gaze softened for the first time, almost kind. Because the crowd must eat. And you are the meal. A siren wailed outside, sharp against the rain. The man in gray snapped his briefcase closed, nodded once, and walked away. The door slammed shut behind him, leaving the echo of his words carved into the air. The monitors above glowed brighter. The leaked photo replayed. The signatures shimmered. The chant of guilty rolled back in low and relentless. Anna's body trembled. She pressed both hands flat to the floor. And then the red lights blinked in perfect unison. Every camera turned toward her. A mechanical voice from the speakers announced, "The trial begins now." The garage doors opened with a mechanical groan. Outside, rain had thinned into mist, but the air was heavier, charged metallic like the moment before lightning. Anna stepped into it with her hood pulled low. The burgundy woman trailed behind, a shadow made of silk and patience. For a moment, Anna thought the storm might hide her, that maybe she could blend into the gray. She was wrong. Phones found her instantly. They rose from the crowd like weapons drawn, their tiny red eyes glowing. Each lens locked onto her face, broadcasting every twitch of muscle, every flicker of panic. She quickened her pace boots, splashing through shallow puddles. But the crowd moved with her, a tide of glass and screens shifting to block each escape. Anna, over here, guilty Anna. What did Adrian sign against you? The voices weren't questions. They were accusations rehearsed to sound like curiosity. She clutched the strap of her bag tighter, her pulse hammering in her ears. Hey. At the corner, a shop window displayed a television tuned to a live feed. Anna froze. Her own image stared back at her, delayed by seconds, but close enough to mock her. She watched herself stumble through the street, eyes wide, hood damp with rain. The caption beneath live Anna Rivers on the run. Her chest hollowed. She spun away, nearly colliding with another camera. The burgundy woman's voice slipped close to her ear. Keep moving. Every hesitation is evidence. Anna shot her a glare. You're part of this. The woman's lips barely curved. I'm part of everything. That's why it works. They crossed another street. The world had turned into an ocean of lenses. Billboards replayed clips of her fabricated confessions. Bus shelters streamed her image branded with bold text, guilty until proven guilty. Anna's legs faltered. How is this everywhere already? The burgundy woman answered without breaking stride. Because you are no longer a person. You are a feed, a stream, a commodity. And commodities are everywhere. Anna ducked into a convenience store, desperate for silence. The bell above the door gave a tired chime. For a moment, the warm buzz of fluorescent lights felt safe. She exhaled, bracing her hands against the counter. But even here, the invasion waited. Above the shelves, a mounted television flickered alive. Her face again, her supposed confession on loop. I admit it. The cashier looked up slowly. His phone was already raised. Anna backed toward the door, throat tight. The burgundy woman held it open for her. Told you, she murmured. Every hesitation is evidence. Back on the street, the surveillance deepened. Cameras weren't just in hands. They were in the walls, in the lamps, in the corners of buildings. Red dots blinked above doorways perched on traffic lights, nested in the eyes of billboards. Everywhere she turned, watched. A bus rolled past its side panel, a full-screen ad. Not for products, for her. Wanted the full truth from Anna Rivers. Her knees nearly buckled. She pulled her hood lower, trying to vanish into the crowd, but even her smallest gestures betrayed her. A hand brushing her cheek, a stumble on the curb, each moment clipped, shared, replayed. A notification chimed from someone's phone as she passed, breaking Anna Rivers spotted on 8th Avenue. Her heart sank. Her movements weren't just recorded, they were mapped in real time. Stop fighting it, the burgundy woman whispered, still calm, still deliberate. The city is not walls and windows anymore. The city is eyes. You live inside them now. Anna turned, fury trembling in her voice. Why me? Why this? The woman's gaze was steady, because resistance is spectacle, and spectacle feeds them. Anna's vision blurred. The rain, the lights, the endless cameras all swirled together. She pressed her back to a wall, trying to catch her breath. But even there, a new glow. Across the street, a massive billboard screen lit up. Her face appeared live from a drone camera above. She looked up into the lens and saw herself looking back, trapped in recursion. The caption pulsed beneath in glaring white, Anna's truth broadcast tonight. The crowd cheered. Phones lifted higher. Anna clutched her head, the noise collapsing around her. I can't escape this. The burgundy woman's voice was gentle, almost kind. Escape isn't offered, only exposure. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, hands trembling. A message glowed across the screen. We are watching, always. She dropped the phone. It clattered against the wet pavement. A dozen cameras caught the moment, lenses zooming on her fear. The crowd erupted into shouts. She dropped it. She's cracking. Anna stumbled backward, her vision tunneling. And then every screen in sight went black. Phones, billboards, traffic lights, all at once. The city hushed. Even the rain seemed to pause. Then a single image appeared, glowing against the dark Adrian's face. Calm, untouchable. His eyes cut through every lens, through every billboard, through her. His voice followed, smooth, amplified, impossible to ignore. Silence ensures outcome. Anna's blood froze. The crowd gasped. Phones trembled in hands. The city seemed to lean closer, waiting. The drone above shifted its lens, zooming tighter and tighter until the live feed showed only Anna's terrified eyes filling every screen in the city. The city had become a mirror. Every screen, every billboard, every phone, her own terrified eyes stared back at her. Anna froze in the storm's mist, unable to look away. She wasn't just being filmed, she was being multiplied. One face turned into 1,000, one moment into a narrative. Then the image shifted. Her face dissolved into another. Adrian. Whoa. The crowd hushed instantly. Phones tilted higher. The city seemed to kneel before the change. Adrian stood at a podium, dark suit immaculate. The storm outside replaced by a wall of cameras flashing in brilliant sequence. His expression was steady, sculpted. His silence last night had been an absence. Today, it was currency. Anna's stomach clenched. She knew this wasn't spontaneous. It was orchestrated. The burgundy woman's voice brushed against her ear. Watch. You're about to see a masterclass. Adrian adjusted the microphone. His hands moved with precision, no wasted gesture. He let silence build a sculptor chipping air into form. Finally, he spoke. We live in a world where silence is no longer an option. The crowd before him erupted in applause. He raised one hand, calm, commanding. The applause ebbed into obedience. Adrian continued, when rumors turn into evidence, when stories turn into facts, we are all called to act. And so I have acted. Anna's breath caught. He didn't say her name. He didn't have to. The weight of every headline filled the gap. Bait. On the streets, the live feed expanded. Every window glowed with his words. Even the rain seemed lit by the screens. Adrian's voice deepened, rich, deliberate. This is not about betrayal. It is about responsibility. It is about truth. He paused. Cameras flashed. Markets shifted. Lives rearranged. Anna shook her head. He's selling me. The burgundy woman's gaze remained fixed on the screen. He's selling silence. Yours. His. It doesn't matter. It's profitable either way. Bye. Adrian leaned closer to the podium. Every system must be tested, and when one fails, the world must see it clearly. Transparency ensures trust. His eyes glinted. Silence ensures outcome. The phrase struck Anna like a blade. She staggered back a step, breath ragged. The crowd around her erupted into cheers. The chant rose again, rhythmic, unstoppable. Outcome, outcome, outcome. Day. On the feed, Adrian stepped aside. His words had been enough. Behind him, giant screens lit up with documents, signatures, photos, evidence curated into spectacle. The leaked photo of Anna and Adrian at Velour Cafe appeared again, framed by the words, "Collusion confirmed." Gasps rolled across the audience. The chant grew louder. Anna pressed her hands to her ears, but Adrian's voice slipped through anyway, perfectly clear in her head. We must face consequences, not as punishment, as progress. Her knees weakened. She braced herself against a lamppost, slick with rain. The burgundy woman finally turned to her. You see what he's done? He hasn't condemned you. He hasn't defended you. He's positioned himself above you. Anna's voice cracked. Why? The woman's eyes narrowed. Because survival at his level isn't about truth. It's about distance. The farther he stands from you, the safer he looks. Adrian's speech ended. The crowd erupted again, applause blending with the storm. Reporters swarmed the podium. Share prices scrolled across the bottom of the feed, rising, glowing green. His cooperation had not destroyed him. It had elevated him. Anna's tears blurred the world. She shook her head violently. No, he can't. He can't leave me like this. The burgundy woman's reply was steady, merciless. He already has. But then Adrian looked directly into the camera. For the first time, his composure cracked, barely perceptible. A flicker, his gaze sharpened, cutting through the lens, cutting through the city, cutting straight into Anna's chest. For a heartbeat, it wasn't performance. It was message. Anna's breath stopped. She felt it not condemnation, not betrayal, something colder. A warning. The crowd around her erupted oblivious. They saw a billionaire addressing the world. She saw a man speaking only to her. Bandmates. The feed cut to headlines, Blackwood transparency above all. Markets surge after speech. Anna Rivers remained silent. The last line burned her lungs. She stumbled away from the lamppost into the mist, into the crowd of lenses that never blinked. The chant followed her, relentless. Outcome. 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 Why? The burgundy woman walked beside her, calm as ever. Do you understand now? His silence last night was strategy. His words today are war. And you, Anna, she tilted her head, you are the battlefield. Anna's heart pounded. She wanted to scream, but the city had already stolen her voice. Her phone buzzed again. A new notification breaking Anna's response expected tonight. Her legs trembled. I don't have a response. The burgundy woman's smile was faint, almost kind. Oh, you will. Even silence is a response. And tonight they'll broadcast it as confession. They. Above them, a drone descended, its lens glowing like a single unblinking eye. It hovered close, reflecting Adrian's speech replayed on its small screen. Anna raised her hand to shield herself, but the crowd roared louder, their phones lifted higher, demanding more. The drone's lens zoomed in closer and closer. Her face filled the frame. A new headline scrolled across every screen at once. Anna to be interrogated live. Night did not fall, it descended. The city was drenched in screens. Every street corner glowed with her face multiplied, reframed, dissected. Anna no longer walked through the rain, she walked through a hall of mirrors. Her reflection smiled when she didn't. Her reflection confessed when she hadn't. Her reflection was no longer hers. Inside a dim corridor beneath the service tunnels, Anna leaned against the damp wall, chest heaving. The burgundy woman stood a few steps away, watching with that same impenetrable calm. Stop running, the woman said softly. They'll always be faster. Anna shook her head violently. I didn't say those things. I didn't confess. The woman tilted her head as if listening to distant music. Perhaps not aloud, but memory is malleable. All it takes is repetition. Anna closed her eyes. She tried to recall last night, clearly her own words, her own voice. She saw herself in Velour Cafe, scrubbing the counter steam, rising Adrian's gaze steady in the crowd. But when she replayed the memory, it fractured. Her lips moved, her voice spoke, but not the words she remembered. I admit it. Her eyes snapped open. She pressed both hands to her temples. No, that's not what I said. That's not me. The burgundy woman's voice was low, almost tender, and yet it plays in your mind. Do you see how quickly proof becomes memory? Anna dropped to her knees, shaking. They've stolen me. They've stolen even my past. Above them, a speaker crackled to life. The journalist's voice poured through, smooth as velvet, cruel as wire. Breaking update. Sources confirm Anna Rivers is preparing to confess live tonight. Her silence thus far is understood as acceptance. Stay tuned for the moment the truth is finally spoken. Anna screamed upward. Raw, broken, lies. But the tunnels absorbed her voice. The speaker swallowed it, twisted it, replayed it. Please. Her own voice whispered back, warped, sinister. She clutched her ears. Oi. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out with trembling hands. A new notification, memory check in progress. She froze. What does that mean? The burgundy woman stepped closer. It means they are not just rewriting the present. They are planting seeds in your past. Anna's pulse pounded. They can't do that. They can't touch what already happened. The woman's eyes were steady. Oh, Anna, everything that happened lives only in memory, and memory lives only in you. Once you doubt it, they own it. Bye. Anna's mind fractured further. She saw flashes of herself in places she had never been. At a desk, whispering secrets. In a bedroom, admitting guilt. Beside Adrian, conspiring. Each vision wore her face, her voice, her gestures. Each vision felt more solid than the truth she clung to. She whispered to herself over and over, not me, not me, not me. But each repetition sounded weaker, as if even her own conviction was being edited in real time. A phone screen lit up in the tunnel, abandoned on a crate. Its glow illuminated her face in sharp angles. The screen replayed one of the fabricated clips. Her lips moved. Her voice confessed. Because of me. Anna screamed, grabbing the phone, hurling it against the wall. Its shattered sparks dying in the damp. The burgundy woman's gaze did not waver. Break all the glass you want, but you can't break what they've already uploaded. Anna collapsed against the wall, sliding down to the wet floor. Her breath came in shallow gasps. I don't know what's real anymore, she whispered. The speakers above responded instantly. Her own voice, looped and twisted, echoed through the tunnel. I don't know what's real anymore. The words repeated, layered, growing louder until they drowned her heartbeat. The burgundy woman crouched beside her, murmuring almost kindly, See, They've already turned your denial into confession. You are their script now. Tears blurred Anna's vision. I can't fight this. The woman's eyes softened just a fraction. That is the point. They don't want to fight. They want collapse. Collapse is cleaner, more final, and much more entertaining. From above, another screen flickered to life. This time, live comments streaming in neon letters. She's finally breaking. Look at her. She's guilty. Confess already. Anna pressed her palms to her face, trembling. The words blurred together until they filled the air like smoke. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. Confession required in 3 hours. Her body shook. I never confessed. The speakers answered in unison, her own voice screaming back at her. I confessed. I confessed. I confessed. Ma. Her breath caught. Her mind split. She could no longer tell whether she had spoken or whether the echo had replaced her. The burgundy woman leaned close, her voice a whisper against the storm of repetition. Anna, when you cannot trust your memory, when you cannot trust your voice, what is left? Anna's lips trembled. She wanted to answer. She wanted to claim something, anything as hers. But nothing came. She stared at the floor, soaked, trembling eyes, unfocused. The woman's whisper slid into the hollow space. Nothing. And that is where they will build the rest of your story. A sudden light snapped on at the far end of the tunnel. Harsh, white. A camera lens glowed red. It zoomed closer. Anna's body tensed. She tried to move, but her legs refused. The burgundy woman straightened, stepping aside. It's time, she said. They'll take what they need. Anna lifted her head, tears cutting through her face. The camera's red light blinked once, then every screen in the city lit up at once, showing her image, live knees on the floor, eyes broken wide, ready for the world to watch her collapse. The lens blinked red. 1 heartbeat later, every screen in the city answered. Anna's face filled them all, kneeling, soaked, trembling. Not a private collapse, a broadcast collapse. Bang! The streets erupted. On cafe televisions in subway tunnels, on corner billboards, her image played in endless loop. Live streams captioned it instantly, Anna Rivers' breaking point. Comment feeds scrolled faster than rain. She's guilty. Finally cracked. We told you. Anna lifted her head, her eyes glazed. She whispered raw, This isn't me. This isn't real. The microphones caught it. The speakers twisted it. This is me. This is real. The chant returned. Confess, confess, confess. It wasn't just the crowd anymore. It was the city itself vibrating with the sound pouring from car radios, buzzing through phones, rattling inside shop windows. Everywhere she turned, the chant followed. Confess, confess, confess. The burgundy woman stood at the edge of the spotlight, eyes steady. She didn't chant. She didn't move. She only observed, as if studying how long it would take for Anna's knees to finally give way. Anna forced herself to stand trembling, gripping the damp wall for balance. I won't give them what they want. The woman's reply was soft, merciless. You already have. They're not waiting for words. They're waiting for collapse. And collapse is louder than confession. From above, the monitor shifted. New footage appeared, clips from earlier in the day. Anna in the convenience store, hood drawn low. Anna glancing over her shoulder. Anna dropping her phone. Each gesture replayed, looped, reframed as evidence. Captions scrolled beneath, preparing to confess. Signs of guilt. She knows it's over. Anna's chest hollowed. They're twisting everything. The burgundy woman tilted her head. Everything is twistable. Then the speakers roared again. The journalist's voice smooth as glass. Ladies and gentlemen, we've received confirmation. Anna Rivers has entered the final stage. Her live confession is imminent. Stay tuned. The crowd on the streets erupted in cheers. The chant grew louder, rhythmic, unrelenting. Confess, confess, confess. Anna clutched her head, screaming over the noise. I never confessed. The microphones caught it. The speakers twisted it. I confess. The words echoed through the city. Her body shook violently. Her voice was no longer hers. Ball. Suddenly, a spotlight flared from above. Drones descended, circling her, their lenses glowing. The burgundy woman stepped aside. It's time. Anna staggered back, blinded. Time for what? The woman's voice was calm. The verdict made flesh. Boots pounded on pavement. At the far end of the street, a door slammed open. Figures in dark suits marched forward, their badges glinting faintly under the flood of drone light. They moved in formation, silent, efficient. The chant hushed. The crowd pulled back just enough to let them through like spectators parting for the executioners. Anna's pulse spiked, her breath fractured. No. The agents closed in, their faces unreadable. One held a folder thick with papers. Another carried restraints that gleamed under the light. Anna staggered away, but the crowd pressed in behind her. Phones blocked every exit. The lenses themselves were walls. She turned to the burgundy woman. "Help me!" The woman's eyes softened, but her voice was steady. Help isn't what they want. The lead agent stopped inches from Anna. He pulled a paper from the folder, unfolded it with deliberate care, and read aloud. "Anna Rivers, you are hereby compelled to appear before the tribunal. Charges include conspiracy, fraud, obstruction, and collusion with Adrian Blackwood." Adrian's name struck like thunder. The crowd gasped. Cameras zoomed closer. The agent lifted the paper higher so the drones could capture every word. "Failure to comply," he said flatly, "will result in immediate detention." Anna shook her head, trembling. "This is a trap. All of it. I didn't do this." The speakers caught it. The city twisted it. "This is a trap I built. I did this." The chant thundered again, louder, vibrating the ground beneath her feet. "Confess, confess, confess." Anna's breath came ragged. Her knees buckled. She sank to the ground, hands pressed to her face. The burgundy woman watched, silent. The agent extended the paper, lowering it toward her hands. "Sign," he said, "and end this." Her pulse roared in her ears. She stared at the document. Adrian's signature was already there, crisp and perfect at the bottom. Her vision blurred with tears. "I can't," she whispered. The crowd roared. "She can't deny it. She admits it. And she's guilty." The agent stepped closer, their shadows falling over her. The drones descended lower, their red lights burning into her eyes. Anna's body shook. Her breath hitched. The chant rattled her bones. And then the loudspeakers cracked, and Adrian's voice cut through everything. Smooth, calm, final. Silence ensures outcome. The crowd erupted, chanting louder than ever. "Outcome, outcome, outcome." Anna's scream was swallowed whole. The agents reached for her arms, and the entire city watched live as Anna was pulled into the blinding light. The light swallowed her whole. Not warmth, not rescue. A glare that erased her shape and turned her into nothing but an outline. Anna stumbled forward, her arms gripped by agents in dark suits. The chant outside swelled, "Outcome, outcome, outcome," but the sound warped as the doors slammed shut behind her. Inside, the air shifted. No longer street noise, no longer storm. Now silence, a heavy manufactured silence that belonged only to stages. They pushed her into a vast chamber. Rows of seats stretched upward like cliffs. Every seat filled, not by citizens, by cameras. Screens where faces should be. Each lens stared down, recording, consuming. A stage waited at the center. 2 microphones stood side by side beneath the glare of 1,000 spotlights. The burgundy woman was already there, calm, poised, as if she had been waiting all along. Anna's knees wavered. The agents guided her toward the microphones, their hands firm, mechanical. The announcer's voice rang out from unseen speakers, grand, theatrical. "Tonight the world will hear the truth directly from Anna Rivers." The crowd of cameras erupted, shutters firing like gunfire, red dots flashing in unison. Anna's breath came ragged. No, this isn't real." The burgundy woman tilted her head toward her lips, barely moving. "It's more real than you are." The announcer's voice boomed again. "To ensure fairness, both voices will be heard." Anna froze. Both voices. A figure stepped from the shadows. Tall, immaculate. Adrian. Her heart fractured. He walked with deliberate, calm black suit glinting under the lights, every step a performance. He stopped at the second microphone, hands resting lightly on the stand, gaze fixed forward. The cameras erupted again. Headlines flashed across distant monitors, Blackwood and Rivers face to face. Anna's throat tightened. She turned to him, desperate. "Adrian, please tell them. Tell them this is all false." His eyes flicked toward her, calm, unreadable. Then he faced forward again, lips unmoving. The announcer's voice cut through Anna Rivers. "The stage is yours." "Hey." Anna trembled. The spotlight pressed into her skin until it burned. She gripped the microphone stand. She forced her voice out, brittle. "I am innocent. This is lies. Fabrications. Twisted words." The speakers replayed her instantly, but the words bent in the air, warped, reshaped. "I am guilty. These are truths. My words. The cameras erupted shutters, firing faster, consuming her denial and spitting it back as confession. Anna staggered. "No, that's not what I said." Her voice echoed. "That's what I said." The chamber shook with applause. The burgundy woman leaned closer to her mic. Her voice was smooth velvet with venom. "You see, she admits even as she denies. The collapse has begun." Anna's pulse thundered. Her legs nearly gave. She turned desperately toward Adrian. "Please, please speak." He raised his chin eyes steady. The room hushed. Adrian spoke, his voice calm, surgical. "Silence ensures outcome. But when silence is broken, truth remains." The crowd of cameras roared. Anna shook her head violently. "No, don't twist it. Don't use that line again." But Adrian's gaze stayed fixed, his voice carrying over hers, drowning her in calm precision. "The documents bear my name. The recordings bear her voice. The people bear their verdict. We are here tonight only to confirm what is already known." The crowd erupted again. Anna's chest hollowed. "You're condemning me." Adrian's lips barely moved. "I'm preserving myself." The monitors above the stage lit up with new text, "Final confession required." A countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Anna's pulse spiked. "No, no, I won't." The chant rose with the numbers. "Confess, confess, confess." The burgundy woman's voice slid in between the chants. "You don't have to say it, Anna. Just break. They'll finish the rest." Anna's knees buckled. Her hands shook violently. The countdown glowed brighter. 7, 6, 5. Tears blurred her vision. She turned to Adrian one last time. "Help me!" His gaze softened, only for a fraction, only for her. Then it vanished. He looked back at the cameras. 4, 3, 2. The chant thundered. The lights burned. 1. Every screen in the chamber cut to her face. Her lips parted, whether to scream, to deny, or to beg. She didn't know. The speakers caught it. The city twisted it. "I confess." The chamber exploded with applause, chants, cheers. Anna collapsed to her knees, shaking, her voice drowned beneath the roar. Above her, the final line appeared across every screen. "Her truth has been broadcast." The crowd erupted one last time. As the lights dimmed, Adrian stepped back into shadow, his eyes locking on Anna. Calm, cold, unreadable, as the burgundy woman whispered to her, "Now the real trial begins."